The Heart is a project from social service provider Homes for the Homeless, which provides free milk to low-income families and their children throughout New York City. They've only been in existence a year, but their impact here in the Bronx is being felt. Program coordinator Jonah Nelson is here to tell us more. Welcome to the show, Jonah.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about your organization.
Sure. Homes for the Homeless is one of the largest providers of transitional housing and social services within New York City. We have a number of shelters within Manhattan, the Bronx, and Queens. These are family shelters for families with children, mostly single parents. We have a summer camps program for homeless children and children who are at risk in upstate New York. And our newest program is Milk from the Heart, which distributes free 1% milk to families with children in New York City.
Okay, free 1% milk.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who's eligible for this? Where does the program live in the sphere of New York City?
Well, it's a very open program, which I'm proud to say. Anyone with children under 18 is eligible to come and get free milk with us. Primarily, we're in the Manhattan and the Bronx right now, mostly Manhattan, but our program is targeted at low-income families with children.
Okay, so tell me about the Bronx. You have locations in the Bronx. Where are they? Tell me about them.
Sure. We have 3 locations in the Bronx. One is near to the studio. It's on 196th Street and Grand Concourse. We have 2 other sites which are by the 183rd Street station of the 4 train. So we get all sorts of families coming to our sites, mostly working families who are working 1 or 2 jobs. They're struggling. Maybe someone in their family has lost a job. Maybe it's a single mother. A lot of difficult cases.
Okay, so I understand this program wasn't that easy to start. Tell me a little bit about that, how this program began and some of the struggles you had initially.
Sure. Homes for the Homeless had done a little bit of research on access to fresh food and healthy food, and we found that mostly food pantries and soup kitchens do not provide milk, and if they do, they'll provide a powdered form or a sort of a prepackaged shelf-stable form, such as Parmalat, which isn't as good as the real thing, and often they were giving out whole milk. They wouldn't have a reduced fat 2% or 1% milk, which the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends. So that's sort of where the impetus for the program started, and we wanted to see if we could do it, if we could go and distribute free milk, and if people would take it. And initially, there were people that were skeptical. I remember one family in particular in the Bronx, in one of our early locations. They weren't so sure. Initially, they didn't want to take the milk. They were used to drinking whole milk. That was the problem. The kids would have whole milk in their cereal and not 1% milk, so they were worried about the taste. They were worried about if the kids would like it, but they were faithful.
Let's stick with that a second. Tell me about the 1%. Why is it important that people know that 1% milk is as good as whole milk, or in some cases better? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, everyone knows more or less the benefits of milk. The American Academy of Pediatrics, most mainstream medical organizations really talk about the positives of milk. 1% milk is only good, whole milk is only good for babies and infants, and past the age of 2, it's much better to give a child 1% milk because it has the same amount of calcium and protein, but less fat and less cholesterol.
Okay, stick with that. That's an important point. I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize that, and they believe that whole milk is actually better for kids. But in truth, and what was the age again that you said that it's really important to do that switch?
Sure. After the age of 2,
so 2,
it's better to give a child 1% or 2% milk, or even skim, as opposed to whole milk, because you need the fat for brain development.
Okay. And why is it better not to have the fat after that age?
Well, we're really looking at it at an obesity crisis in the country, in New York, and specifically in the Bronx. Across a number of studies, the Bronx is the hardest hit for both obesity and food insecurity. So not only do people not have enough food, they're not able to get healthy food, and frequently they're overweight or obese.
Okay.
I think that something like a half of public school children before high school are either overweight or obese. And when these children transition into adulthood, 2/3 of them in the Bronx are overweight or obese. So we're really looking at a crisis.
Okay, I want milk for my family. What do I do?
You can go to our website or call us. We have a number of sites, 13 in Manhattan currently, 3 in the Bronx.
13 physical locations.
13 physical locations. So what we'll do is we'll partner with a social service organization or a school, and we will go. We'll pick a time where families are going to be around, where families are going to be available.
Give me detail. Give me an example in the Bronx of a location. What times are you there? What's the location like?
Sure.
What do I have to do?
Sure. On every Tuesday afternoon at exactly 2:20, our van will pull up to Middle School 206 at 2280 Aqueduct Avenue by the, on the corner of 183rd Street. So that's right by the 4 train. It's about 2 avenues away. We'll pull up exactly at 2:20 every Tuesday, and there will be a line waiting for us. So all you have to do is show up. We ask you the number of children you have in your house, the number of adults in the apartment, and you're able to get milk.
I don't have to register?
There's
online?
no registry.
I just show up.
You can just show up. Once you know the time and the location, you just need to show up in time for the distribution. And because there's such a high demand, we do request that people come at the listed distribution time, or they risk not getting milk.
Okay, what's your plan for the Bronx? You mentioned to me earlier that you were thinking about expanding in the Bronx. What would you like to do there?
Well, as I said, we have 3 sites in the Bronx as of now. We would like to expand to between 12 and 14 locations within the Bronx, so we're able to give out more milk, we're able to reach more families, we're able to disseminate more nutrition information, we're hoping to expand our nutrition education component so that we have a cooking element where we're able to show people how to make healthy food and how to make it taste good, because there's a trio for healthy food that's often overlooked. It needs to be cheap, it needs to be accessible, and it needs to taste good. But if you don't know how to cook, you're most certainly not going to be able to get the element of taste.
Okay. All right, let's say I want milk. Who funds this? I mean, that's a question I have. Where does the money come from for this milk?
Initially, we were very lucky to have a grant from the Stern Family Foundation, and they were able to start the program.
Okay.
So the associated cost with milk and having a van to go around and distribute the milk.
But as you look to the future, where's the funding coming from? What are your needs in that respect?
We've gotten a lot of small donations, so we're looking to keep it up.
Okay.
We're really looking for small donors to step up to the plate, because about $5 can give 3 families milk. So it doesn't take a lot to make a very big difference in people's lives.
Okay. Okay, we've got just a few seconds left. What would you like people to do? What do you need them to do? What's your call to action?
Our call to action is for people to continue doing what they've been doing and trying to eat healthy in the face of adversity. I'll give a quick anecdote. Okay. There's a man who comes with his family to one of our distributions in the Bronx, and on the side he sells empanadas. And I think this is sort of the epitome of the problem, is that he's stuck in a cycle of obesity. The community wants a specific type of food, and they're not able to request something else. So I think that this is one of our major problems. People need to step up to the plate and to say, we want more grocery stores. We want more produce in bodegas. We want more produce in grocery stores that we already have. And that's sort of the thing that we need people to do. We'll keep supplying the milk and the support and the nutrition education, and they need to step up and engage their own community to say, we want healthy food. We can do this.
Okay.